Hey, help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also hit that like button to subscribe if you want more Cavs-focused content. Your Cleveland Cavaliers are a mind-boggling 55-10 on the season. The Cavaliers, with this win tonight, have clinched their division title. I believe they're in the Central, whatever division they're in. Divisions aren't really that important in the NBA. But the Cavs are now division champions. They have clinched a top 3 seed in the East. Cavaliers are having a hell of a season. You know you're having one hell of a season when the Oklahoma City Thunder are 53-12 and you're 2 games ahead of them. That's how you know. Cavs also winners of their last 15. Cavs on a 15-game winning streak. If that number sounds familiar, well, it's because the Cavs went on a 15-game winning streak to start the season, which was a feat so impressive that it put everybody's antennas up for the Cleveland Cavaliers this season. Well, they have had a 12-game winning streak and now another 15-game winning streak. And quite honestly, during this 15-game winning streak, they haven't even been playing their best basketball. Cavs have a point differential of plus 11.4 right now, which is the best in the East. The Cleveland Cavaliers are having an amazing season. They beat the Brooklyn Nets today, which again, Cavs were out a fair amount of people. No Donovan Mitchell today, minor groin injury. Ty Jerome didn't play in this game. No DeAndre Hunter. I think all those guys needed rest, and you're going to have to find ways to rest guys when you're winning this much. So you are without your bench and your star player, or one of your star players in Donovan Mitchell. Didn't matter versus the Brooklyn Nets. And look, this one was an up and down affair. We'll talk about it. But the Cavs were ultimately able to come away with this one at the end. First thing I want to talk about before I get into the details of this game is I want to ask you guys if you feel it's like this intangible thing that the Cavaliers have this year that they haven't had before, which makes me more confident in them. But the Cavs have this ability versus teams like Brooklyn, even when they're shorthanded, to do this thing that I used to see done to the Cavs a lot, where a better team, a more veteran team, would just dial up that pressure, and that they almost manufacture their own momentum that way. That is absolutely what the Cavs did at the end of the third quarter, start the fourth quarter in this game. Brooklyn was up in the third quarter as much as like 15, I think almost 17 points. Cavs were able to battle back in this one pretty quickly. Darius Garland, who I thought had a pretty rough second and third quarter, a good first quarter, had a spectacular fourth quarter. This is, again, one of these things I want to talk about with Darius. I talked about this in my Q&A video I did yesterday. But it seems like people are nervous about things with Darius Garland that like aren't really things with Darius Garland. Like somebody told me they were worried about Darius Garland in the clutch. He's one of the best point guards in the clutch in the NBA this season. And just look at what he did in the fourth quarter of this basketball game and tell me if that's really somebody you need to be concerned about in clutch situations. I mean, you basically jumped on the back of Darius Garland to win this game in the fourth quarter. It was spectacular what he was doing, right? Darius Garland put this team on his back in the fourth quarter to win and made some spectacular shots down the stretch. There was one bucket he made where he sidestepped and shot this thing horizontally and it went in. Incredible. You just being able to have a guy like that on a night where Donovan Mitchell's not playing, you can still close out a basketball game and feel fine because you have Darius Garland. And look, Darius played bad in this game for a big stretch of it. Was atrocious from three throughout the whole game, 3 of 11. But it didn't really end up mattering at the end because Darius closed so well. And I think we kind of forget some of these bigger things. And even when Darius wasn't shooting well from the floor, I thought he was very productive on the floor. He had the highest plus minus for the Cavs tonight. And I thought when he was out there, he did a really good job making the right decisions, facilitating. Thought he played some really, really solid defense in this game as well. Ended the game with 38, 4 steals, 4 rebounds, and 2 of those rebounds were a really big deal. I think Darius, I think a lot of people are wrongfully concerned or overly concerned about Darius. Are there some things that you should be concerned about with Darius Garland as far as like his consistency? He's a bit of a streaky shooter. Yeah, there's some things that I do worry about the consistency with him there. But is Darius Garland like this thing I'm like nervous about in the playoffs? No, because Darius Garland, more often than not, when the big time comes, when the big moments in the game come, Darius Garland does some of his best work. And this is an example of it where Darius in the fourth quarter just absolutely took over this basketball game. Now, Darius wouldn't have gotten this opportunity to take over this basketball game if it wasn't for the other 2 all-stars on this team, Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Jared had a very Jared Allen night, 23 points, 13 rebounds, 1 assist, and 3 blocks. He was incredible defensively for this basketball team. Jared Allen's an all-star. I'm just going to consider him like an all-star. I'm not going to argue it with anybody anymore. I thought Jared played fantastic today. Same thing with Evan Mobley. When this team needed to lock in defensively, they were able to do so because of the strong efforts they were getting from Jared and Evan. Jared, I thought, had some especially good moments when he was pulled out to the perimeter. They tried to get Cam Johnson, my bad. I was thinking about Cam Thomas, who killed us tonight. But Cam Johnson tried to get him out on the perimeter a couple of times, and it just wasn't turning into anything. Evan, there were points in this game where Evan was dominating. There were points in this game where Evan just wasn't as aggressive as I would like Evan to be. 21, 9, and 6. So obviously very impactful for this basketball team. And I thought defensively played really well. Just the 4 turnovers for Evan. Big thing that I don't love from him, right? Sometimes he gets a little turnover happy. He was 9 of 13 from the three. I mean, not from the three, from the field. 1 of 3 from 3-point. So pretty good game there for Evan. Isaac's good game. I don't think it's going to show up on the stat sheet, but I feel comfortable with saying that Isaac Okoro played a really solid game and was productive in his minutes. He didn't score a ton, only 6 points. Had 5 rebounds and went 3 of 10 from the floor, all of 5 from 3. Did not make his 3-point shots, but he was just so sticky defensively. He avoided so many switches, and was really physical with rebounds and made some really big plays. Had 2 steals. And I thought he had a block, but I guess they didn't give it to him at the end of the day. I thought his team defense and his perimeter defense was spectacular. He had a couple of good buckets that he drove for. That's the only thing I would say with Isaac. He had a couple of moments where he tried to be Donovan Mitchell. And what I mean by that is like he had like Darius Garland standing off to the side while he tried to like size up a dribble drive, which just isn't what we need out of Isaac. I get it. You don't have Ty Jerome out there. You don't have Donovan Mitchell. So you have to find a way to give Darius Garland a blow, and you can't really do that with Evan Mobley because you got to run Darius in that action with Evan Mobley in order for it to be effective, unless you want to just have Max Strus out there, which that's what the Cavs ran a lot of the time. So I mean, I get it. I understand why Isaac had to have some of those moments. It was just, I wish he picked better times for it, because it felt like it was ill-opportuned or mistimed or poorly timed every time that it happened. Max Strus, thought he was fine in this game. The bench was okay in this one. The Cavs shot 23% from 3 in this one, so atrocious 3-point percentage, 24%. My bad. So they were atrocious from 3. They weren't that good from the floor, 44%. and Brooklyn shot better than they usually do, both from the floor and from three, and you were still able to win this basketball game, even with three of your key players out. So it's like three of your 8-man rotation out. It's a big chunk of it, like 40% of the meat of your rotation out. You're still able to win this game. Look, you might not walk away from it on paper and look at a 5-point win from against Brooklyn and think that's impressive. And I can understand how if you just skim through it, you wouldn't think that's impressive. But what I think is impressive about this game for the Cavs, shot poorly, did not have any real luck offensively. I thought the foul calls were not going your way at all. They were allowing Evan Mobley and Jared Allen to get smacked consistently. And there was some of that they allowed the Cavs to do on Brooklyn as well. So you didn't get the foul calls to go your way. And then also on the other end, Cam Thomas is going off for 27 on you. So it's one of those days where you feel like, hey, it's just not your night. Maybe the Cavs are just going to lose this game. They're down like 17 in the third, but they just battle back. They get the big performances. They know when to make the certain plays. And I guess that goes back to the point I was trying to make early in this video. This Cavs team understands when in a game that they're trying to make a comeback that they really need to make the play, right? When is that rebound really important? When is that bucket that you can't allow? Like, when do they need to really clamp in defensively before something gets out of hand? They have a good feel for that this year, which I think all great teams do. And that's why the Cavs are able to win on nights like this, where it's not dropping for them. And that comes with experience. That comes with coaching. That comes with learning from past experiences. And I think this Cavs team is finally there. And that's a huge reason why this Cavaliers team is 55-10 and is coming off of, well, in not even the end of March, not even the middle of March, and the Cavs are already the winners of their division. They don't even got the T-shirts ready for that. They've already done it. Your Cleveland Cavaliers, they're not just good in the sense that they can overwhelm you when they're shooting well and all this stuff. This is the stuff that makes the Cavs an elite basketball team, is this small stuff that they get really right this year, and why I just have the highest of hopes for them in the playoffs this year. But y'all let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think about the Cavs winning 15 games for the second straight time? What do you think about the Cavs winning their division already? What do you think about the Cavs being 5 games away from their first 60-win season without LeBron James on the roster, and potentially, 12 wins away from the best record in Cleveland Cavaliers history? It's a lot to think about. Y'all let me know. Peace.